There is nothing I have been able to find out about Henry Carew, except that he wrote 2 novels, the 1923 The Secret of the Sphinx, and today's subject, the 1925 The Vampires of the Andes. The story begins with explorer Will Wooten in Peru, visiting his fiancée Kitu. Her parents, the DLXXXIs, revealed to him in secret she's not really their daughter, but was handed to them as a baby by a mysterious woman with a cryptic note dealing with vampires. At the same time, Wooten is preparing to go dig for fossils in a cave in the Mato Grosso, at the entreaty of his friend, the eccentric Professor Stevenson. Also at this time, we see Will had sent Stevenson a massive block covered in strange characters he found during a dig at Chan Chan. However, we soon see several people very eager to get the block back. These all orbit around a certain Garcilaso, editor of the Amauta newspaper, and secret prince of a society dating back to Atlantis, and having representatives all over the world from Japan to the Ashanti. They are endeavoring to find the block and discover a girl child born to the Inca, leader of the Incan people within their conspiracy, who disappeared with his whole family more than 20 years ago. I believe you can guess who that might be. As for why they want to kidnap Kitu, it is to sacrifice her and 6 other girls to blood-sucking Arab parrots who are also vampires, and represent some supernatural power controlling the universe. Will is soon abducted and held prisoner to try and force him to write to Stevenson to return the block. Meanwhile, Stevenson and some of his colleagues work on deciphering the many archaic inscriptions on the block and try in vain to find out what it's made from. They eventually lose the block, but Stevenson accidentally boards the yacht carrying it, along with many of Garcilaso's co-conspirators, and learns many intriguing details before escaping and making his way to Peru. Stevenson meets Wooten, already released, and they have an altercation involving a villainous priest named Father Bartolome, who has been a very minor character up until this point, and who has a habit of drugging himself unconscious and hoping that will solve all of his problems. Stevenson and Wooten go into the caves at Mato Grosso to find a passage to an underground city where Kitu might be held, but then a mysterious message leads Will to go through a series of mystic initiations and facing an immortal before he emerges and meets Kitu's father, the missing Inca. And this is where the bottom falls out of the story. Until now, it was a fairly intriguing adventure story, but now beyond some syncretic gobbledygook mixing Greek and Norse and South American mythology, like saying Odin and Quetzalcoatl were the same, we have, so there are 7 different races involved in the conspiracy, each ruled by their own prince, but there is also the Cronian Empire, which consists of 10 undersea cities ruled by 10 semi-immortal secret rulers, and also the 7 immortal hidden ones that awake for a few hours once every 1,000 years. Also, the Inca wants to save his daughter because he got the news one of her descendants will be the Manu of a new race that will dominate the world. In fact, after she was born, he was ready to have her sent off to be brought up in isolation as a human sacrifice, but he got promoted to the rank of a secret ruler, so his daughter is now no longer eligible as a sacrifice due to a technicality, only he isn't allowed to tell the society because the law forbids him from informing them for some reason. Also, he wants to save her by finding a substitute, and has no problem with having 7 girls have all their blood sucked out of their bodies by vampiric birds to temporarily infuse life into the bodies of dead kings so they can have a brief chat. And this in fact happens off-screen after they get a substitute for Kitu. Also, Will's body is inhabited by the spirit of Kitu's dead brother, so their union and marriage will at least in some way be incestuous. No member of the conspiracy gets their comeuppance. In fact, they get everything they want. Despite them not being allowed to murder anyone, they have no qualms to indirectly facilitate the death of anyone standing in their way. And they go completely unpunished. And having Will say that it's okay for the 6 other girls to be used as human sacrifices because that's how they were raised is just utterly weird.